As John C. Maxwell states, leaders must touch people's heart before you ask for a hand. This is the law of connection. As we have all had our worlds turned upside down due to a global pandemic, there is one thing that makes me a grateful member of Community Action, and that is connection. At our agency, CALI, we've continued our strong connection to the community and the people we serve, letting them know we are here. Personally, I enjoy connecting and communicating with others, but due to the change in our world, I, as a lead workforce case manager, had to adjust my style of connecting with my clients. I had to truly listen and focus on what they needed at this moment, but being very authentic and real with them about my capabilities during this time. I have learned from my mentors and leaders, especially in community action, that we must connect and build relationships with people to empower them as part of our community and for themselves. Another law of leadership is the law of magnetism. John Maxwell states it perfectly. Who you are is who you attract. This has been a law I believe I had in my own personal life, and I believe it is what attracted me to my position and CALI, where I am today. Many people I work with have shown me the strength, leadership, and passion I never thought I possessed. Because of this, I have been given an opportunity to help people I serve see their own strength and leadership. Since starting our workforce program 4 years ago, other community agents have formed similar programs and have sought out my knowledge and suggestions to make their own programs successful due to what they have seen me do. Even as a global pandemic is going on, CALI and its leaders continue to attract more like-minded people. Who you are is who you attract.
John C. Maxwell, in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, talks about the law of navigation. He discusses this notion that, as he puts it, anyone can steer a ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. So it's about being able to navigate your organization through challenges and obstacles in order to reach success. So the past 4 months have been challenging for literally everyone. A global pandemic has caused everyone to pivot rapidly and seemingly unpreparedly onto a new course. At Community Action, Ramsey and Washington counties, where I work, we have pivoted full steam ahead onto a completely new and challenging course in order to continue to provide services to our community during this time. Now, Maxwell quotes Jack Welch, former CEO of General Electric, as saying, "A good leader remains focused. Controlling your direction is better than being controlled by it." I've seen my organization, and particularly my department, community engagement, really exemplify this concept and the law of navigation in a number of ways over the past few months. So for example, my job is to provide employment services to our community. During this COVID crisis, seeking employment has kind of taken a back seat. People, we've received a shelter-in-place order, which made looking for jobs difficult. Many people began receiving supplemented unemployment benefits, which they felt would get them through. A lot of companies were on a hiring freeze. So with all of that, the number of people I personally was helping to look for jobs got smaller just by the nature of the situation that we're all in. My leader, however, could see that even though there was a lull right now, the demand for employment services would inevitably grow. When unemployment benefits started running out, when businesses start opening up again, and when people are finally sort of facing the evictions that were being put on hold during this time, right? So as someone who controls their direction and truly charts a course, my director decided to add an employment services coordinator position to our team during this time, right? So that took us from 2 employment services coordinators to 3 on our team. So in my mind, that is how a leader uses their vision to really chart a course of action. This is determining what it will take to fulfill the vision. So I think moving forward, the law of navigation is going to be an important principle for all community action organizations to keep kind of at the forefront of the way that they operate. And I have a particularly relevant quote here from an author named Gregory S. Williams, and he says, "On the other side of a storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. Raise your sail and begin."
Number 16, the law of momentum. The law of momentum is the linchpin of leadership. When it's overlooked, it leads to both immediate and long-term consequences. To quote Maxwell on page 197, "When you have no momentum, even the simplest tasks seem impossible. Small problems look like insurmountable obstacles. Morale becomes low, and the future appears dark. An organization with no momentum is like a train at a dead stop. On the other hand, when you have momentum on your side, the future looks bright, obstacles appear small, and your troubles seem inconsequential. An organization with momentum is like a train that's moving at 60 miles per hour." In our course reading, Our Iceberg is Melting, we saw that momentum was required by the penguins at each step of their journey in order to progress to their end mission. These steps included creating a sense of urgency, pulling together a guiding team, developing their change vision and their strategy, communicating for understanding, empowering others to act, producing a short-term win, setting up for success after that short-term win, and finally creating a new culture after a long-term win. All of those steps in the leadership process that the Penguins underwent required momentum. For Wright County Community Action, the standout example for the law of momentum has been our agency's response to the community's need to ensure that our most vulnerable adults are protected during COVID. Our executive director, Jay Weatherford, has used the law of momentum to build up a massive response. This has allowed for tens of thousands of prepackaged meals to be issued into our community, keeping our seniors safe and allowing for new partnerships. Prior to COVID, our agency worked alongside community partners and stakeholders in various degrees. However, when the demand for our newly established program that ensured nutrition for seniors delivered right to their door, when that increased, so did the requirement of Jay to build momentum with both his staff and our community partners. One by one, Jay and his followers began to spread the message of community action and grow our capability to respond to this need. Each step of the way was met with an obstacle or 10, and each obstacle allowed stakeholders to perform better than we had each separately. Jay was able to highlight these obstacles and use this momentum to magnify and rally his followers around that obstacle in order to generate solutions and then results. The law of momentum requires a leader to believe in the vision themselves. Had Jay not thought this response would have been possible, we would have never achieved our mission of ensuring security for those seniors. Our collaborations, and more importantly, our vulnerable populations would not have been served during COVID.
My name is Lori Wollman, and I am the Family Services Director at Inter-County Community Council in Oakley. We are a part of the Northwest COC. My department provides assistance to the homeless and those at risk of becoming homeless, including singles, families, and young adults and youth. As you can see, COVID-19 has forced us to make lots of changes, including our presentation. I would like to share with you how I feel the law of respect from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell has applied to myself and our agency during this time of continuing transition. I have always felt the law of respect has been the most important thing when it comes to leadership. When you show respect for others, including people in lower positions, you will be respected as well. You need to value the work of others within your organization. If you credit your employees and co-workers for a job well done, they will know that you appreciate their efforts as part of the team. When you are respected, your team will be more acceptable to
change, especially in uncertain times. They will trust your decision based on how they were treated in the past. When my case managers have questions or concerns about a client or a program, they know that they can ask anything and provide their own opinions without losing respect. This is another example of trust. And without trust, you can't have respect. I also know that I can approach coworkers within our agency for assistance without losing the respect of the team. A good leader will always refer to others in their areas of expertise. We are all learning how to do things differently and more efficiently during this new era, but with respect, we can all learn from each other. Thank you.
In March of this year, my husband and I wanted to escape Minnesota. It didn't look like this. To see both of our children who are stationed with the Army. Our plan was to enjoy some time in the sun with family, but little did we know what was going to happen. Not even 24 hours into our vacation, my daughter was being recalled to Hunter Army Airfield in Georgia, and my son close behind her to Fort Rucker, Alabama, as I was called into an emergency meeting with our leadership team in Head Start. As leaders in our Head Start program, we were immediately faced with unprecedented decisions regarding safety for the children and families we serve, as well as our own staff. Reflecting now, I can clearly see how John C. Maxwell's law of empowerment and law of process, which he explores in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, played a part in the way I was able to lead with my team as COVID-19 became emergent. Maxwell talks about the soft skills we need to be great leaders, and if I hadn't put the time into developing these skills in myself and helping to develop them in my staff, we may have had a different outcome. I was able to support my staff in this tragic time because of skills I have developed and the experiences I have lived through. Beginning when I was a child playing games like Follow the Leader, the skills we build in childhood, like the children we serve in Head Start are doing every day, lay the foundation of what is available to build upon later in life. Maxwell's law of empowerment supports my actions in empowering my staff to do what was needed to flip from what we know as traditional early childhood programming to a virtual world within days. I trusted them in their skills and knowledge to find a way that was comfortable for them, knowing full well they would know better how to serve their children and families than I could ever suggest. Empowering my staff led to some great outcomes, like the following.
Hi, Pine Room friends. It's Teacher Vicki here. I wanted to send out a little reminder that tomorrow is Pajama Day. So I'm wearing my jammies and I'm here in my bedroom because that's where I usually wear my jammies. And that's the end of our book. I think I'm going to go to bed now too. Good night. Oh, don't forget to wear your jammies tomorrow.
Through this process, we were able to continue to provide individualized educational experiences for children, keep our families engaged in their child's learning, and keep our staff gainfully employed. When COVID-19 took hold, our world changed. What we knew to be true dissolved in a heartbeat, and as John Cotter alluded to in his book, Our Iceberg is Melting, it takes a team of leaders with varied skill sets to make change. We were like the character Lewis in his story. We were faced with a problem of which we had no previous experience. Because we had a strong team of leaders, we were able to perpetuate our agency and MNCAP's goals to continue to support families towards self-sufficiency.